Hello, everybody. Back again, just on a different channel. When I'm on this channel, I feel like a first grader in the living room doing a talent show because it's just a few of us and it's awesome because you don't have people who are bat shit crazy trying to lecture you like in the show earlier today on the other channel where the lady was like, I don't like that nickname that you gave Brian Kahlberger. His name is Brian. It's innocent until proven guilty. I'm like, says who? Who? My robe is red, not black. All right, speaking of guilty or innocent until proven guilty, what do you think about guilty until proven innocent in your real life? Trevor is triggering me. Trevor says, "This is nuts. Let me tell you what really happened. You don't know what you're talking about." Thank you. Thank you for keeping it real, Trevor. I appreciate that. Anyway, it actually doesn't make me mad. I actually kind of like it when people do that. It gets my blood pressure going. So, have you guys heard about this situation with Michael Irvin? And I'm going to preface this right now. This isn't about football. This isn't about the NFL. It's not about the Dallas Cowboys because you all know I'm a Chiefs fan, right? I think I've said that loud and proud. What do you think about this in society when someone can just make an accusation against someone and they basically lose their life? Like it just gets turned upside down based on an accusation. Now, some accusations I get, but those accusations are normally followed up with handcuffs. But in certain situations, you can just say something against someone and instantly they lose their job, their reputation, their marriage. I don't know what's going on here. I wasn't invited to the Super Bowl, unlike Jinbug, who got to be there. I wasn't at the Marriott when all this went down. I wasn't part of the conversation between Michael Irvin and the lady at the hotel at all. But at this point, we have teachers that are losing their jobs over accusations. Hello, Court K. Mary Glick said, I missed this one, but were they canceled or woke? You're going to have to help me because I don't know. Let's start with the accusation. Now, this happened during Super Bowl week. This is the accusation. Michael Irvin, who at the time was working for NFL, the NFL network, commentating games, the routine. He had a conversation with a woman at the hotel in the lobby as people are walking by, and she said that she was threatened and she's a victim. This is what she said. According to reports, the allegations against Irvin go like this. At the start of the interaction, Marriott's lawyers stated, now these are the lawyers for the Marriott Hotel. They stated that the female hotel employee was attractive and reached out to shake her hand, asked her name, and introduced himself as Michael. Moments later, Marriott alleges that Michael Irvin reached out and touched the victim's arm during this conversation without her consent, causing her to step back and becoming visibly uncomfortable. Michael then asked the victim whether she knew anything about having a big black man inside of her. The filing continued. Taken aback by Michael's comments, the victim responded that his comments were inappropriate and that she did not wish to discuss it further. Irvin then attempted to grab the victim's hand again and said he was sorry if he brought up bad memories for her. The victim pulled her hand away and tried to back away from Irvin as he continued to move towards her. Irvin has been passionately denying the allegations. He said, "This sickens me. This takes me back to a time where a white woman would accuse a black man of something and they'd drag him through the mud and hang him by a tree. It just blows my mind that in 2023 we are still dragging and hanging brothers." Okay, so he had $100 million lawsuit against the Marriott. It was filed in Texas. It got refiled in Arizona. I can take that down. YouTube's going to have a shit fit with that. All right. After a month of legal maneuvering, former Dallas Cowboy star and Hall of Famer Michael Irvin showed reporters the hotel surveillance video at the center of his $100 million lawsuit against the Marriott. And it's not just the one he was at, it's the whole hotel chain. The video, which Marriott fought to prevent from being seen by the public, shows the encounter that led to Michael Irvin being pulled from his job at NFL Network during the week before the Super Bowl due to misconduct allegations from a female employee of the Marriott. Marriott-owned Renaissance Phoenix Downtown Hotel. So yesterday, he had a press conference and they finally got the video and they went through it basically frame by frame. So I wanted to watch it with you guys and see what you think. Let's say this encounter did happen and he did say that to her. Should he lose his job? I'll start with that. Should he lose his job for saying that to someone at the hotel? Uli said this is no very good. This was in the hotel lobby where people were walking by. From what I watched, it was a very short conversation. And I don't understand what's going on. Like I said in the last show, that one chick was losing her mind and she said, it's innocent until proven guilty. So when you're in real life, though, you can make an accusation and you're guilty until proven innocent, and you can lose your job. Let's look at the video. Now, this is him with his attorneys. And I will say that when he was asked questions, his attorneys told him to answer freely. Attorneys don't do that. Attorneys are normally like, no, dude, let me talk. You, no bueno. You say nothing. JM said, I don't think he actually said that, though. It doesn't appear that way. Mary said, so he touched her arm. No claim against him, in my opinion. Yeah. And Michael Irvin is known for being a big old dude. And he could crush a person if he wanted to. I don't know where all this is coming from, but it's crazy. And I can't believe the Marriott is going after him the way they are. Hang on, Jay Woody's fired up. He wants the link. We know he very rarely asks for that. He said link. But we have to look at this video because I've watched it twice now and I'm just not seeing that she is scared of him, feels intimidated. Now, supposedly another employee of the Marriott heard Michael talking to another guy, talking about this employee and said, she's bad, she's bad. But that was all he said. Well, she's bad, she's bad. So we've got one employee, and by the way, a very, very, very busy hotel because everyone's there for the Super Bowl. Everyone's there for the Super Bowl. They're saying that he was visibly intoxicated. All right, let me get to it.
Now taking you out to Dallas here, where we do have Michael Irvin there fighting back against allegations of sexual misconduct during Super Bowl week at a Marriott in Arizona. Let's listen right here on Live Now from Fox.
And I may, as we're showing the video the first time, stop and start at some to explain some of the things that are on this list. And then at the end, for y'all who want it, I'll show a completely, just run the video for you, the tape. We also, at the end, Mitch is my IT guy. He's gonna be able to get y'all copies of the video, and y'all talk formats, or that is not my business. Some important times you're gonna see on the video. If you go to the first slide on PowerPoint. There you go. Michael and the complaining employee began talking on February 5th, 2023. The conversations you see last 1 minute and 49 seconds.
Okay, I'm going to pause it right there. Michael and complaining employee began talking on February 5th, 2023 at 23:11:59, and the conversation ends at 23:13:48, lasting 1 minute and 49 seconds. Complaining employee makes a handwritten statement in the late afternoon on February 6th, in which she listed the time of the incident as 12:15 a.m. And that's when she said, this happened. What are you thinking, Jay Woody?
Hello, Brooks. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Well, I have a little personal insight into this one.
Were you there at the Super Bowl? Were you at the Marriott?
Unfortunately not. That would be a little more personable, for sure. Well, first and foremost, of course, the Dallas Cowboys are my team. Being from Dallas, my grandmother taking me to my first game when I was still a toddler, could barely walk. It's one of my first memories of my entire life that I'll always hold near and dear. And she was the biggest fan you'd ever meet in your life, screamed at the top of her lungs at the TV every single game, all through the game. Another memory that I'll never, ever forget.
Right.
So that being said, when Michael Irvin was in his prime and the Cowboys won their back-to-back Super Bowls, that was pretty cool. So I love my boys. I'll just put it that way. I'm not so much of a diehard football fan these days, as political as it's gotten, but
oh, I am. I don't even care, and I'm going to be in a foul mood until it comes back on in the fall. But go ahead.
yeah, I just, these days I could care less who wins or who loses. I watch a game here and there, just not diehard like I used to. Anyways, I don't know if you wanted to finish this segment first before I got into what I was going to bring to the table.
Let's watch the press conference all the way through. And I'm going to say again, it's not about the NFL. It's not about Michael Irvin. It's not about the Dallas Cowboys. I want to know if that's what it's come to, where you can meet somebody and have an exchange in a hotel lobby like Darling Nikki, the Prince song, make an allegation, and they just lose their job. And there's no investigation. There's nothing. Because he's got a ton of money. He can fight this. Other people can't. Let's look at this. And if he did it, should he lose his job? If he said that to her, should he lose his job? He's asking for audio. He wants the audio enhanced. We'll see.
Whole video you're going to see last 5 minutes. The complaining employee makes a handwritten statement in the late afternoon on 2/6/23. We think that's relevant because there's a big gap between the events you're going to see and when she actually first files something that says she was offended, in which she lists the time as the incident as 12:15 a.m. on 2/5/23. By the way, that's impossible. That's not when this happened. You can tell from the videos. Michael got escorted out of the hotel the next night at about 10 p.m., as you can see. Let's go to things to watch for in this video. First thing, right out of the gate, it's not even on the slide, is you're going to see Michael, as I described before, in the back talking to these eyewitnesses that many folks have interviewed. He's more grabby and touchy-feely and in close proximity to them than he ever will be with the complaining witness. When you see the complaining employee come out for the first time in the video, where she's going makes no sense if she's not trying to intercept Mr. Irvin. She clearly has no reason to be walking where she's walking as part of her job duties. It's pretty clear she's making a line of sight over to Michael to talk to Michael. In the back, there were two employees that were together. There's going to be a man in a vest you're going to see throughout the video. This man, I think, is very, very important to this case. He's clearly in the back talking to the complaining witness before she comes out. And he comes around and posts up and watches her come up to talk to Michael. When he sees her with Michael, he does a weird move. He does this. He's going to bend over and clap his hands 3 times. You can draw your own conclusion. I think it shows he was either happy or he was upset that she was talking to Michael. He lingers at the bar, leering at the complaining employee throughout most of her conversation with Michael. You'll see him, he's very angry. When you first watch the video, I know you'll miss this guy. That's why I'm going to give you a few opportunities. He talks to a man in a gray shirt who appears to be security personnel. You'll see a gray shirted man circling the whole time who's clearly security for the hotel. When the conversation ends, the complaining employee, it looks very happy. She does a little kick at the end, a little kind of a sachet, you'll see. It's kind of an odd gesture. And she continues talking to Michael, like back over her shoulder, like happily as she's leaving. And she seems to be in a very good mood until this man in the vest, you'll see, comes up to her and grabs her. And he's very aggressive and he just starts ripping her. Like he makes her walk out with him and you can see him over his shoulder. He's obviously agitated and being very visibly upset with her. The security guard that lingers in a gray shirt lingers in conversation, and one of the other Renaissance employees with him then goes and takes a selfie with Michael. Now remember, these are all Renaissance employees that are right on the scene, that see and can hear what's happening, and they just act like nothing's happened. And then watch the witness's body language as she leaves. The last thing, what we don't see. I only have one angle of this interaction with Michael and the complaining employee. It's going to be clear there's going to be many others, and I'm hoping at some point I get those from Marriott, and of course I'll share them with you. We don't have still the tape on what the complaining employee or Michael were doing before this tape starts. Clearly Michael had already been in the hotel and met with people and walked outside. We don't have that. So with that, I'll give you quickly the status of the case. Many of you, I won't say incorrectly reported, but said, we dismissed the federal court case. That is true. We did what's called a Rule 41 procedure. The case was refiled immediately and has already been refiled in Arizona in state court. Why did I do that? Well, you've seen all the pleadings that were filed here. We didn't know who all was involved when I started this case. So we brought the case in Collin County where Michael lives. They obviously removed the federal court. They wanted to move it to Arizona. Now that we know who's involved, we've sued 4 individuals that are listed by name in the complaint. We've listed the company that operates this hotel out in Arizona. And of course, we have added Marriott International again. Okay, with that, I think we're ready to go to the tape.
But before we go to the tape,
Okay.
let me say this. I get a text all day from the guys that I work with, and I do miss working and everything. But this is more than just work. I'm in between big businesses here, businesses that make billions of dollars with and for each other. But when you get called in a room and somebody tells you, hey, pack your bags, you relieve your duty, go home. And I said, why? What happened? Well, you sexually assaulted somebody. So who? When? Well, nobody was in my room. Well, don't worry about it. Go home. We'll talk about it. I said, wait, if you're telling me I'm doing something and I do not know what I'm doing, you can't tell me to just go home. I played this game hard. I played the game physical. And you guys know, we all worry about it. We see what happens with our brethrens, and we now know about CTE. I'm saying, how can you say I'm doing something and I don't know it, and you tell me to go home? I couldn't go home. Steve, you know, they put me in a hotel other than a Marriott, and they watched me. I'm in the staff for 3 days. 3 days to make sure that I wasn't doing anything crazy. Make sure that I was okay mentally. And you guys know how hard we fought to get this tape. While I was sitting there and they were looking at me, we kept asking for the tape. Let us see what we're doing. Let us see if we're doing something. You saw how hard we fought legally. I'm just thankful. I'm just so thankful for those witnesses. I'm so thankful for this video, because without it, I just don't know where this would have gone. This is a sexual assault. This is what they're calling sexual assault. It just, you can run it.
Okay, as we start here, y'all can see up to the top right, Michael is outside with the gentleman that were here last time via Zoom. I called them the TMZ witnesses because they were the first to interview them, but it's 3 gentlemen.
Real quick, off topic. How does TMZ get interviews with witnesses before the damn police? It is the craziest thing. TMZ, I know.
They're like a bunch of psychics.
They must be, because they know how to find these people, and they find them fast. Now, I do have to preface this before we see the video. This is not my video. I do not work for Fox News. Also, it is said that when she went home, she told her boyfriend she met Michael Irvin. But with her being an employee of the hotel, she's not allowed to ask for a autograph. Okay, and then the next day, she tells her employer that they had this very inappropriate conversation, and then at 10 o'clock that night, they tell him he has to leave. From there, instead of the NFL using their own attorneys to sort it out, they excuse him from his duties. Something here is not making sense. Except for this. Lisa said police won't pay you for an interview, but TMZ will. There you go. Something here is not making sense. I don't get it.
If you notice his body movements and what's going on, he's obviously going to be very friendly. There's some other people actually that I don't know their identity. Take a picture. That guy right there on the left, stop it. And go back 10 seconds. Can you do that? When I talked about the people that were in the back talking, I believe a complaining witness, I believe it's this gentleman here who's some kind of a manager. And then you'll see the witness who's been back come out this side, okay? She's gonna walk way around here to this pole instead of back to where her job would be back that way. Okay, go ahead and roll it. There he goes. She'll come this way pretty soon across the bottom. Also, when she walks up, you'll see she kind of looks around the pole to see if Michael is still coming. You see her just barely duck her head. Here she comes. Okay, right there. You see how she stuck her head to the right? And now pause it. Now, she's way ahead of Michael. If she was to continue at her same speed for her job, she should be way over in the bar in a second, but she clearly slows down so that they're going to intersect at that kind of juncture where you have to walk in the bar. So go ahead. This is the shake I talked to you about in the beginning, the opening shake. Pause it. This guy over here with his hands on his hips is the angry manager, okay? If you go back a few seconds, I want him to see what he does with the hand clap when he sees her with Michael. You come behind the bar, you'll see him walk out. So focus on him this time instead of on her. We went back a little far.
It is not as granular as it should be.
Okay. Well, we got it coming now because here she comes. He sees her back there where he's vectored, and he comes up, the manager, and you'll see him when he sees her. Watch his expression, what he does. See the claps? I don't know what that is. Then he comes up here, and you can see he's visibly frustrated at what's going on somehow with her. Now let's take your focus back to Michael and her, because you can see they have friendly interaction. The body language is good, and they're just talking. In fact, if you see, he keeps more space from him than he does when he's talking to any.
Okay, I'm going to pause it right there. Lisa says, I hope if he's found not guilty, they release her name, face, and that she's charged with filing a false report. This is, nothing was filed with the police. There's no criminal charges. It's just the whole cancel culture thing. She pointed the finger. She said that he said this to her, that she felt intimidated. And then next thing you know, the Marriott kicks him out at 10 o'clock at night. And then the NFL Network releases him from his duties because of this accusation. Do you know are there any criminal charges, Jay Woody?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. And I like how the attorney he's breaking it up. He's like, now watch this guy. Watch this guy. And don't forget, Michael Irvin, and a lot of people can't do this, he got his attorneys on it and said, we're going to sue. We're going to sue because you did not do your own due diligence to find out if your own employee, if her story lined up. And we're not calling her a liar either because we don't know the outcome of this. But they're suing for $100 million. The suit was dropped in Texas, refiled in Arizona, and they've named like 4 people in this suit.
Is
And
there
also,
more of this clip? I didn't
are you
think there
bored?
was- No,
Are you
I
bored?
just wanted to. I do have to go to. I'm about to eat lunch here soon. That's not what I wasn't trying to rush you by any means, but I did come on because I have a specific point.
Oh,
to make.
no. No, I'm going through the clip. Don't you worry. But I have
Okay.
to stop and commentate.
No, all good. I know that the clip's not extremely long. I didn't know if
It's
trying to
about
throttle myself here.
Email at any point in the bar. Some of y'all probably wish you'd keep more space when he talked to you. Guy's pacing, hitting his hands. He's upset over there on the left with whatever's happening. The guy in the gray up top, that's the security guard that's wandering around. He'll circle around many times around Michael and her. Pause it 1 second. But we've been going for a while. They're having a lot of conversation. As Marriott released in their statement, they said basically, he said one word to her, an offensive, vulgar thing that he did not say, and it's clear from the video and from these witnesses. But they have a very lengthy conversation, and no one's trying to tell us what that is. Go ahead. That's where she tells some kind of joke, I believe, to him. You see him kind of bend over. She's shaking her head back and forth like that. He walked in closer to her. She didn't back up at all. Now they're shaking hands. Now I want you to watch the end interaction here, because she's going to kind of, when the people come up, she'll kick her leg. As she walks off, she's still talking to Michael over the shoulder, all friendly. There you go. Kicks her leg. And see right here, she's gonna look back over her shoulder and say something to Michael. Now pause it, pause it. Okay. They claim he was leering at her. When he looks back in the bar, she's way gone. Because you're about to watch, she's gonna go over here, and that guy is gonna get very visibly upset with her. And basically, there's somebody who's, I don't want to use the word abusive, but there's somebody who's really being forward to her. It's this gentleman here. It wasn't Michael. So watch what happens. Okay, go ahead and roll with that. You see him grab her and she falls, now pause it. Now Michael's looking over there for the first time. He's not watching her. He's talking to these guys. You'll see in a second, they turn around and they start talking to him, the guy in the white hat. Okay, go ahead. See? Now Michael walks out to go take a selfie with this, we believe, Renaissance employee, 99% sure. And the security guy stays right there with him, who's been around for the whole conversation, really. Shows Michael where the elevator is. Okay, you can stop. There's nothing else relevant on this tape. It just shows the lobby for another couple of minutes. Guys, this is ridiculous. I know what happened here. It's an overreaction based on the fact, well, the word we used the first press release, that was cancel culture. It's where we are. There's no doubt from watching this woman's not offended. Is it possible the manager was upset at her for talking to Michael because he's a celebrity and she shouldn't? Is that possible the manager was upset because he has some kind of relationship with her we don't know about? We'll find all this out in the case. But the one thing that is really clear, this is not a sexual assault. This isn't sexual harassment. This isn't sexual misconduct. None of that exists here, and I think this tape is very, very clear. Michael, you want to say anything else? Because all I'm going to do now is run this one more time so everybody can watch it in real time, and that's all we have. You good? Okay. Thank you all. If you need copies of the Arizona pleading, I'm happy to provide it, and I can take a couple of questions.
Do you know what you said to her? Can y'all just heard the speak over their claims, what was said? Can y'all recall what was said at all?
Yeah, our conversation was about football. She said she wasn't much of a football fan. And I didn't tell her. I said, well, you watch Cowboys selling some shows. I said, you watch the shows that I do. Watch First Take or Game Day Morning. I said, you can look those up and you can see it. I said, now, I kind of get crazy on First Take and have some fun. So that's what we were just talking about.
And
Okay.
sir, at this point, are you hoping that with this being released, this will help in regards to your jobs, getting back to work and so forth?
You know, listen, as I stated, I miss my guys. I'm a football player. I miss my locker room and my team and all of those guys. But what was most important for me was to find out that I'm okay, first of all, that I'm not doing things that I was like, what do you mean? I didn't do anything. I met people downstairs. That was important, you know, played the game. Right? And I want to make sure I'm okay for my family and everything. So I just wanted to see it. You know, that was whether I work again or not, I don't know. I don't know what happened with all of that. But what I had to know was, what are we talking about? What are you saying? I assaulted somebody, I attacked somebody, and you won't let me see it, and you're trying to send me home. You're sending me home to my family, and I needed to know. So, you know, yeah, listen, I'm just, yeah.
Do you have any response to Marriott claims about what was said in the conversation, the claims that they made in your filing?
Yeah, I imagine they're trying to now, since we're here with this lawsuit, trying to say some things and to help win a case. I believe even the filings that filing that you have, that they wrote that after all this came together. That's not anything that they came up with prior to. So, you know, I don't speak like that. You know what I mean? I've never spoken like that. So I'm not even, yeah, I totally deny saying that. I totally deny saying that.
Sir, you said you'd like to see other angles from Marriott. Are you positive they have other angles that show the interaction? If so, how many?
Yes, they've said that they have terabytes of other information. Again, I've been trying to, they keep telling me they don't have time to get it. And if you realize the time frame I gave you, in a little less than 4 or 5 hours, they were able to come up with this video to show the NFL or show somebody, which I'm not even sure the NFL saw it, but they said that they did. Marriott said that they did. So I don't know why it's taking so long, but it's clear there's other angles.
Can you just go back over and talk about calling in court, federal court to Arizona by the jump?
Sure. You know, when you file a lawsuit, you have to sue the right people. That's really difficult to find out in the beginning. So we knew it was Marriott. What you didn't is you see the entity we ended up suing is Renaissance Hotel Operating Company. Okay, it doesn't have Renaissance, Marriott, downtown, anything in it anywhere. So we filed it in Collin County as quickly as we could. We actually thought that by filing a lawsuit, we could get them to sit down and go over this tape with Michael, like Steve asked them repeatedly in Arizona. Hey, can we all sit down together and go over this tape? Look at what they've done. They've spent tens of thousands of dollars at a minimum to keep y'all from seeing this tape. Well, if it's so good for Marriott, why are they doing that? Because they know that any rational person can watch this and see this is either a setup or a after the fact invention or something to try to cover why that guy up there is mad. And I don't know why he's mad, but he's clearly frustrated with that employee, and the employee's happy as a lark. I mean, you don't do the little leg kicks and the little over the shoulder and the stuff you'll see when we run it here without that. And you guys take it back to your office and tear it down 1,000 ways to Sunday. We're not here trying to hide anything. I have never wanted to come in here and just give y'all a description of what I saw. I've always wanted to show y'all this.
Michael, I know you guys want to let this play out in the court of law to prove your innocence, but there's a court of public opinion. And following last week, people have made decisions. What do you hope this video says to the court of public opinion?
What do you mean?
As far as perception of you following what Marriott said, now that this video is out publicly, what do you hope this video shows to the public?
I hope it shows what it shows, the truth, just the truth, you know, and listen, you guys understand the court case, there's a lot of things. In these filings, they said basically, well, we had to move her because Michael said he stayed. He said, like, I'm going to hunt her down, kidnap somebody, and kill. Come on. It's just mess. Here's the truth. We used to say when we played football, die in the sky, don't tell no lie. It's just the truth. We talk and tell lies, but die in the sky, don't tell no lie.
I think we're good. Thank you, guys. I appreciate.
All right. I want to hear from everybody in chat. What's your final verdict? Do you think that he was harassing this woman? Do you think the things that she said that he said to her that she felt threatened? Because cancel culture is a thing.
Yeah, so let me say this. I am entirely against cancel culture. I cannot stand it. When I say that I'm extremely conservative, that's my personal persona, not necessarily my political leaning. So I'm just very against anything that goes along with cancel culture and all that good stuff. And I could go so much further, but again, we'll try not to make it political. That being said, I don't think that they have anything on him, and that this chick thought that she was going to get paid by making this claim. But that being said, I wouldn't doubt if Michael Irvin did say what she claims he said. Now, it's not sexual harassment. It's inappropriate, absolutely. But you can see, I've seen a different clip that was a little more up close. Mm-hmm. And when he's talking to her, you can kind of see him swaying a little. And they're at a bar, so clearly he had been drinking. People say very dumb stuff when they're drunk. I know I have more than 100 times, you know. But to my personal experience, and these are my opinions from my own personal experience, not necessarily fact, but about 15 years ago when I was still working in the restaurant business, he came into the restaurant I was working at with a woman that was did not appear to be his wife. phrase this very carefully. Did not appear to be his wife, different skin color. I don't know if he's still married right now. I know that this would be pretty detrimental to a marriage, so I hope that, that's intact as well. But when he came into the restaurant with this lady, there was a very, very, very strong smell of the weed type stuff.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just like a strong smell. It literally stunk up the whole restaurant with him and her just sitting in the corner table in the bar. Completely different part of the restaurant. The whole restaurant smelled like a skunk had just got killed, And he was polite to me, but I guess you could say his conversation with her was a bit, I'm struggling for the right words. I wouldn't say obnoxious, but if someone else was listening, may have found it obnoxious. So judging by the things that I heard, I wouldn't put it past him to have said this under those circumstances this go around.
Okay, so let's talk about that. Let's say that he came across this hotel employee, and in, let's say, in this minute and 40 seconds, he said what she's saying he said to her. Is she a victim now?
Well, I mean, I guess it depends on what you constitute as sexual assault or
Well, I mean, they're
harassment.
saying sexual assault. That's very serious. Is
Well,
she a victim? Because I know me. I know what I would say if someone said that to me. And nobody would lose their job. I can tell you that right now.
yeah, I mean, that's a whole nother thing as well. The NFL had every right to say, okay, you're going to be off the air tonight for the Super Bowl or however many days before or after it was. But for them just to say that NFL Network to say that he was fired and out of the position indefinitely, that's very, very overboard and extreme. I think most businesses of any kind of corporation usually have a suspension process, a waiting period to weigh the details, and that clearly didn't happen in this case. So that's another just BS in my point of view.
Now, also, the hotel has a very strict policy, and it was honed in on the employees before Super Bowl. They said you could see anybody that comes in, and you have to be appropriate at every time. At all times, do not flirt with anyone that comes in the hotel. If someone offers you a room key or whatever they call it now, the answer is, oh, I'm sorry, I'm on duty. I mean, what you do when you're in the restaurant hotel industry. From what I'm looking at from the exchange, she didn't feel too threatened at all. She didn't look too upset because when a woman is pissed or threatened, and we don't wait till the next day to tell our boss, particularly if our boss says to us, you're in trouble. You don't wait the next day and say, oh, well, the reason is because Michael Irvin asked me this question.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of impartial here because I'm not necessarily accusing him of doing anything illegal. At the same time, I don't necessarily know that he didn't say that, judging by my own experience. If that makes sense at all.
Oh, it
But
does.
still, even
my
if he
question
said that, that's offensive, not necessarily illegal.
But can we lose our jobs for being, if we offend somebody?
Absolutely not. I mean, you got to be able to prove something. I mean, I don't know. I suppose a business can do whatever the hell they want, but there should be procedures and policies in place for things like this.
And the Marriott does have one. And if any hotel guest is inappropriate with you, you tell them immediately.
Agreed.
They definitely have it in place. To me, this is just crazy. And to have a suit for $100 million and break down the video and say she must have said something funny to him because like he kind of flipped over and was laughing.
Yeah, I'm sure there was some banter, not just by him. I'm sure she semi-flirted back, but probably reserved herself for being an employee of the hotel. And I don't think that he overstepped any more boundaries than probably just saying something he shouldn't have at the wrong place and the wrong time. And for her to try to make this accusation, she's clearly just trying to get paid. And then you get the corporations in it and get the cancel culture involved, and it's just a big mess. That's my opinion.
There you go. And I don't think that Michael Irvin is Irvin. I always say it wrong. I don't think that it would be out of his character to say something, off color to anyone. He's known with his language to say things that he shouldn't say. Now, that being said, she knows that. Her boyfriend knows that. So why did it take till the next day for her to come up with this story? Sunset said, but why did the other employee, why didn't the other employee? Was that okay with the manager? I'm going to look at this again real quick. I'm going to let you eat your lunch.
Oh, I appreciate it.
No, you're fine.
I just, I had some insight and I wanted to share, and I'm not someone who drops names at all. I can't stand it when other people do. But working in Dallas for as long as I did, I've met a lot of people and a lot of sports players. I've met Troy Aikman and Dirk Nowitzki and waited on all those guys. Never really had intimate conversations with any of them, of course. But this one with the gentleman here involved was a little different just because of the things that I heard and the things that I smelled and kind of applied to this situation. So I just wanted to share that.
Did he tip you good when you met him?
You know what? She paid.
She paid? Oh.
She sure did. Their bill wasn't very high. I think they had like an entree a piece and a drink a piece. That was it. They weren't there very long, maybe an hour. But yeah, she paid. That was kind of odd.
Quite the corporation we have set up. Well, we know where we're going with that one. All right, Jay Woody, thanks for coming up.
Thank you, ma'am. Have a good day.
Trev Tom says, you met Dirk. All right, I'm putting the link up again if you want to come up and discuss this. I have a big issue with accusations. And now there's some accusations where people should be suspended. And let's figure it out. But this whole, we're just done with this person, I don't get. I'm going to look at a different clip of this real quick.
This is more than just work. I'm in between big businesses here, businesses that make billions of dollars with and for each other. But when you get called in a room and somebody tells you, hey, pack your bags, you relieve your duty, go home. And I said, why? What happened? Well, you sexually assaulted somebody. So who, when? What? And nobody was in my room. Well, don't worry about it. Go home. We'll talk. I said, wait, if you're telling me I'm doing something and I do not know what I'm doing, you can't tell me to just go home. I played this game hard. I played the game physical. And you guys know, we all worry about it. We see what happens with our brethren, and we now know about CTE. I'm saying, how can you say I'm doing something and I don't know it and you tell me to go home? I couldn't go home. Steve, they put me in a hotel other than a Marriott, and they watched me. I'm in the staff for 3 days. 3 days to make sure that I wasn't doing anything crazy. Make sure that I was okay mentally. And you guys know how hard we fought to get this tape. While I was sitting there and they were looking at me, we kept asking for the tape. Let us see what we're doing. Let us see if we're doing something. You saw how hard we fought legally. I'm just, I'm just thankful. I'm just so thankful for those witnesses. I'm so thankful for this video, because without it, I just don't know where this would have gone. This is a sexual assault. This is what they're calling sexual assault. It just, you can run it.
Okay, as we start here, y'all can see up to the top right, Michael is outside with the gentleman that were here last time via Zoom. I called them the TMZ witnesses because they were the first to interview them, but it's three gentlemen. If you notice his body movements and what's going on, he's obviously going to be very friendly. There's some other people actually that I don't know their identity. Take a picture. That guy right there on the left, stop it. And go back 10 seconds. Can you do that? When I talked about the people that were in the back talking, I believe a complaining witness, I believe it's this gentleman here who's some kind of a manager. And then you'll see the witness who's been back come out this side, okay? She's gonna walk way around here to this pole instead of back to where her job would be back that way. Okay, go ahead and roll it. There he goes. She'll come this way pretty soon across the bottom. Also, when she walks up, you'll see she kind of looks around the pole to see if Michael is still coming. You see her just barely duck her head. Here she comes. Okay, right there. You see how she stuck her head to the right? And now pause it. Now, she's way ahead of Michael.
Okay. Why was she looking particularly for him? It's never been said that she was supposed to be looking after him in particular. And at some hotels, and this is just a Marriott, this is not a resort where you have you have people that are supposed to watch after certain guests. Well, hello, Trevor.
Hello.
What are you thinking about this?
Man, it's crazy how, somebody can just come out and say something like this and everything he's doing is flipped upside down. He's not allowed to work. He's canceled. I mean,
he's canceled. And you can clearly see in the video, she was looking for him.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go through it a little slower. Hang on.
If she was to continue at her same speed for her job, she should be way over the bar in a second, but she clearly slows down so that they're going to intersect at that kind of juncture where you have to walk in the bar. So go ahead. This is the shake I talked to you about in the beginning, the opening shake. Pause it. This guy over here with his hands on his hips is the angry manager, okay? If you go back a few seconds, I want him to see what he does with the hand clap when he sees her with Michael. He comes behind the bar. You'll see him walk out. So focus on him this time instead of on her. I went back a little far.
It's not as granular as it should be.
Okay. Well, we got it coming now because here she comes. He sees her back there where he's vectored, and he comes up, the manager, and you'll see him when he sees her. Watch his expression, what he does. See the claps? I don't know what that is. Then he comes up here, and you can see he's visibly frustrated at what's going on somehow with her. Now let's take your focus back to Michael and her, because you can see they have friendly interaction. The body language is good, and they're just talking. In fact, if you see, he keeps more space from him than he does when he's talking to any male at any point in the bar. Some of y'all probably wish he'd keep more space when he talked to you. Guy's pacing, hitting his hands. He's upset over there on the left with whatever's happening. The guy in the gray up top, that's the security guard that's wandering around. He'll circle around many times around Michael and her.
Okay, so I'm going to pause it right there. What are you seeing, Trevor? Because I see a hotel employee, and now I have not heard the audio between them. They're trying to get something enhanced so you can hear what they're saying to each other. And nobody in their right mind would do that if they clearly said what she's saying was said. So what are you seeing just based on their interaction?
I'm just seeing a claim that's been blown out of proportion. Seeing there was nothing that went down. She was obviously looking for him to an extent, and who knows what was said, as we don't know right now. But even if he did say something like that, the physical interaction shows that it wasn't 100% him just chasing her down, saying something crazy, her being all freaked out and afraid. I mean, it's like, doesn't add up that way.
No. And I'm not trying to pick on my gender, but there's a lot of women that if he had said that to them, they would be giggling and telling their girlfriends about it. And he's supposedly a therapist all at once in this minute and 40 seconds. After she's taken aback by what he says, well, I'm sorry to bring up bad memories for you. How does he know anything about her past? What is he, a counselor? He wouldn't say that. So we go from sexual assaulter to therapist.
Right, and a direct apology. In her words, he said it, and then he apologized.
Okay, well then if he apologized and said, I'm sorry to bring that up, you're exactly right. Lisa Mosley said, who wants him canceled? Who put her and the manager up to this? I think it's more her and her boyfriend. That's what I'm gathering. Her boyfriend was really upset that she was talking to him, didn't get a autograph. She explained that when people are in the hotel and they are celebrities, you can't approach them like that. I don't know. The hotel was wrong.
Oh, yeah. And it's just like she openly admits, like I said, the apology. That'd be like, right now I'm sitting up here on panel. If you said something crazy to me, and then before I got off, you apologized for it, I'm not going to go make a video being like, did you hear what she said? We just covered it here. You know? I mean, if something was said, it was squashed. It's like the next day, it doesn't need to be another issue again.
Shep said, I'm curious, why does he slap himself after she walks off? Just like, I don't know the dude. When you see him on the NFL Network, he'll say, no, don't say that. Or why did you say that? Or, don't do that. I don't know. I mean, I think the question is exactly how bad do you have to hurt someone's feelings to get canceled or fired?
Right, because that's what it comes down to, because there was nothing physical done, so it's not going to be like an assault. It's going to come down to words that were said. That's all.
I'm just really shocked that she didn't file a lawsuit. I think when the heat started coming down like 1,000 hammers right after he was escorted from the hotel, I think she was too scared to be quite honest. You know what? And the sad thing is, when something terrible happens to another human being, you have a lot of people that are afraid to speak up for themselves because of people who have lied.
Oh, yeah.
And so if this interaction took place and they're clearly speaking to each other, and if within a minute and 40 seconds he wrecked her life, then yeah, he should be fired. But I don't see how anything like that could occur in a minute and 40 seconds.
Also, it's like if your go-to is to do like what they did to cancel him instead of, like you said, file a lawsuit, then are you looking for quote unquote justice for this terrible act that happened to you, or are you looking for attention and you to be the center of this story? Because canceling him's not going to get you anything.
No. And it actually won't get, and actually it will only hurt them for a little bit, and they come back bigger and better.
Yeah.
Because people feel sorry for them. They're like, damn. I mean, how many times has this backfired on people? And there's some, it should have happened 20, 30 years ago. I agree. Should have happened 20, 30 years ago. But this is ridiculous. Mary Glick says, looks to me like her body is bending closer to him, not the other way around. Good call.
Pause it 1 second. So we've been going for a while. They're having a lot of conversation. As Marriott released in their statement, they said basically, he said one word to her, an offensive, vulgar thing that he did not say, and it's clear from the video and from these witnesses. But they have a very lengthy conversation, and no one's trying to tell us what that is. Go ahead. That's where she tells some kind of joke, I believe, to him. You see him kind of bend over. She's shaking her head back and forth like that. He walked in closer to her. She didn't back up at all. Now they're shaking hands. Now, I want you to watch the end interaction here, because she's going to kind of, when the people come up, she'll kick her leg. As she walks off, she's still talking to Michael over the shoulder, all friendly. There you go. Kicks her leg. And see right here, she's going to look back over her shoulder and say something to Michael. Now pause it. Pause it. Okay. They claim he was leering at her. When he looks back in the bar, she's way gone. Because you're about to watch, she's going to go over here, and that guy is going to go he's going to get very visibly upset with her. And basically, there's somebody who's, I don't want to use the word abusive, but there's somebody who's really being forward to her. It's this gentleman here. It wasn't Michael. So watch what happens. Okay, go ahead and roll the tape. You see him grab her, and she falls. Now pause it. Now Michael's looking over there for the first time. He's not watching her. He's talking to these guys. You'll see in a second, they turn around and they start talking to him. The guy in the white hat. Okay, go ahead. See? Now Michael walks out to go take a selfie with this, we believe, Renaissance employee, 99% sure. And the security guy stays right there with him, who's been around for the whole conversation, really.
Okay, so the security guy did not hear this interaction. The security guy also got a selfie with Michael Irvin. We're clearly watching this. So what the hell is going on? Grandma Bunny said, I think the other dude was leering, not Michael. Jen Bug said, that hotel is busy all the time. It's in Glendale, right by the stadium. And plus, it was Super Bowl weekend. Lots of people around. So what the hell's going on? Lisa, who are the two people in the bottom right corner? Ooh, I would have to speed it up. I would have to go back because I don't know. I don't know. Do you think it's odd that the security guard had nothing to say about this?
I do.
Yeah. I mean, that's his job to make sure that everyone stays on the same page, that no guests, get drunk in the bar and fight each other, or that, no employee is assaulted, or anything like that. Now, mind you, I mean, I wouldn't want to be that 120-pound security guard up against Michael Irvin, but that's just me.
Yeah.
Shows Michael where the elevator is. Okay, you can stop. There's nothing else relevant on this tape. It just shows the lobby for another couple of minutes. Guys, this is ridiculous. I know what happened here. It's an overreaction based on the fact, the word we used the first press release out was cancel culture. It's where we are. There's no doubt from watching this woman's not offended. Is it possible the manager was upset at her for talking to Michael because he's a celebrity and she shouldn't? Is that possible the manager was upset because he has some kind of relationship with her we don't know about? We'll find all this out in the case. But the one thing that is really clear, this is not a sexual assault. This isn't sexual harassment. This isn't sexual misconduct. None of that exists here, and I think this tape is very, very clear. Mike, you want to say anything else? Because all I'm going to do now is run this one more time so everybody can watch it in real time, and that's all we have. You good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, by filing this $100 million lawsuit, which wasn't dropped, it was filed in Texas because they said it's hard to find the people that you're looking for to sue, but they refiled it in Arizona. They may have to refile it again. When you do that, you're opening yourself up to Pandora's box. He's already said, I don't care. I want the audio enhanced so they can hear what we were saying. Now, let me ask you this, and we have more women in the chat than men. Let's say a man did say something that you found to be inappropriate. Should you rain down hell on them and them lose their job, the whole 9 yards? Why did she wait till the next day? Let's talk about Frontier Airlines. A lawsuit was filed, okay? You have a man in one cubicle, you have a woman in another one. On a Monday, I'm just going to say Monday, I'm picking an easy day. He asks this woman in another cubicle, what perfume do you have on? He said, that smells nice. She tells him. She says, I got it from Saks Fifth Avenue. He asked her again later in the week because he said his wife's birthday is coming up and he wants to get her something from Saks Fifth Avenue. She said by him changing it to Saks Fifth Avenue and asking her again, she felt harassed in the workplace. Does that make any sense to anybody?
No.
He has been temporarily relieved from his duties and they have to look into it. Okay? Now, I'm the employee that nobody really wants to approach. I just have a look on my face and they're like, oh, I'm not gonna harass anything. But some people are approachable. And like Amy said, that is a common joke. That is what we have become. And Michael Irvin, he's a big boy, both financially and physically. He's going to be fine with this. He will recover. He will be fine. JM said, I'm a Gen Xer, so I'm used to men saying inappropriate things to me. Yeah, we actually, and the girls can give it back 10 times worse if you want to know the truth.
My question is why didn't she go straight to somebody within her workplace and handle it through the proper channels?
They have an HR manual from hell. My God, it's like 5,000 pages on how to deal with the guests of the hotel. And not to mention, she's kind of upper on the food chain at that hotel. She knows. Why was she looking for him is my question.
Right.
And let me ask the ladies in the chat, how many times have you been approached by a man, not your own husband, that doesn't count, and you have told them where to shit and bury it, or ridiculed them down to nothing to where they knew never to approach you again? Did you feel harassed? There's my girl, just me. She was, yes, ma'am, I have. Where's Summer? Snazzy said, there's no law against being an asshole or a Karen. This seems like a collision of the two to me. It is. And it's ridiculous. So, I mean, no loss to me. He's not on the NFL network. I mean, I would prefer this to have happened to Tony Romo because I cannot stand his commentating. I would have no problem with that. Actually, I would take up for Tony Romo. I'd be like, what the hell is going on? Mary says, oh, I'll bury them. It's fun for me. Magoo says, amen, sister. So what the hell is going on? Now, if he physically attacked her, then the popo would be involved.
Mm-hmm.
But the whole, have you had a big black man inside of you and they're still going back and forth for another 40 seconds? No, that didn't happen. No, that didn't happen. That did not happen. And it took her until she got home that night and she told her boyfriend that Michael Irvin, she finally came across him. And then the next day, she says, but this happened. You wouldn't believe what he said to me. And the powers that be at the Marriott says, we have to let people know. What to do? What to do?
I don't understand. How do you?
It didn't happen, or it's a money grab, and she was too intimidated to file a suit against him.
There's a right way to go about things and a wrong way. When you go about it the wrong way, it probably didn't happen.
And are hurt feelings the reason for someone to lose their job or to go to court? Or do we just let it go and stay the hell away from that person?
Right. Well, here's a story, a little personal experience. It's a little different of a situation, but at my workplace at the time, an old job of mine, I was walking past one of our rooms and one place in our building, and a female employee. When I walked in the door, she was sitting by the door in a chair, and she ran her hand up my leg, that kind of deal.
Now, hang on. I don't want to make you feel bad. She touched you and she ran her. Okay. Say, if you want to say that again.
Yeah. So she put her hand like on my leg and ran it up my leg.
Okay. So if you are a female, that would be called rape.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah. In today's society, if that happened to a female, if a male grabbed their leg, now 20 years ago, it was called a promotion. But nowadays, if that happened to a female, somebody is getting in huge trouble. Go ahead.
Definitely. But that evening, I contacted our supervisor, and it was handled in the proper way that the company wanted to handle it. I didn't, I mean, granted, she wasn't a famous celebrity, but you can still ruin a regular person's life too. I mean, there's ways social media is a dangerous tool. And if you want to go about it certain ways, you can, but I went through it that way and just wanted to not, let them handle it the way they did. And obviously not work in the same time frame as her, if that makes sense. But, not, I wasn't out there advocating for the whole community to take her life apart.
No, I've been like, tell her get her nasty ass hands off me.
Yeah.
She has no reason coming around touching me. Good Lord. Yeah, there are procedures. Let me tell you what, every company has a handbook. And it's like, I mean, shit. We had a situation a few months ago, and damn, the page and paragraph was quoted back to me. They know the handbook and they know what you can and can't do. But him touching her elbow doesn't seem inappropriate to me. If he said this to her, it's scummy and it's gross, but that's really not a reason to burn down the barn. That's just my opinion. Let's take a poll real quick of the chat. Do you think this happened to this woman or not? And then I got another poll. Let's ask Trevor first because Trevor's on here. Not that he's going to influence the chat. Do you think that this happened? Do you think that he said that to her?
It doesn't seem like it. I don't think so.
I don't think so either. And it's Michael Irvin. He has said far worse things. Okay, let's be honest. Michael Irvin has said far worse things to people.
Oh yeah. And even that's the thing is it comes down to even if he did, is it worth doing all this? And that's where I also say no.
Now a new poll. If he did say that to her, should he have lost his job from the NFL Network? Trev says no twice. Trev is on panel 2. Thank you, Trev. Trev is like doing triple duty.
Yeah, you're on a couple devices here.
Okay. Sunset said no. She was excited to talk with him. That's what I was thinking too. It looks like she looked him up. She looked for him. There's my husband in the chat saying, no. Does my husband get a vote on how women and men interact? No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, no.
No, of course he does. I'm just kidding. The whole thing makes zero sense to me. I mean, zero. And all they're going to keep doing is just pissing people off more and more because everyone is sick of it. I mean, it's so ridiculous. Snazzy has just invented a new word. She said there is no such thing as verbal rape. Oh, my husband just said it's called the woke NFL. Damn.
Well, I've never seen a company that covers sports be more woke or whatever word you want to use than ESPN. So for them to pull him, I'm not surprised.
Mary said, yes, Brooks DT always gets a vote. Of course he does. Of course he does. Yeah, the whole thing makes no sense to me. And we're going to see until something stops it, it's going to get worse and worse and worse and worse. It really is. And I know the women around me, and they can handle their own. They can handle their own. Even if he said that to her, they would chew them up and spit them out and say, I don't give a damn who you are. You're not going to talk to me like that. And he would cower away. I promise.
Well, it's a slap in the face to real victims of these offenses, of sexual misconduct, sexual assault, and beyond. When people use those words to weaponize a situation like this. I mean, people actually go through those things and are victims of real crimes. And when you do something like this, it takes away from that.
Mm-hmm. And what they're doing is actually, they're making women look like they can't stand up for themselves. So the feminist movement, that's a done deal. The Me Too movement, that didn't work out well. So now we're back to this. And it's being played out in the media. And in courtrooms. And it's ridiculous. Like Just Me said, it cheapens it. So if you are, I'm just going to say, if you are a woman, using, a woman for an example, because I am one, and you are working in an environment where you're being harassed and harassed and harassed and harassed, you're like, I don't want to say anything because I'm going to look like this asshole over here that made it up.
And a perpetrator of something like this, and I use perpetrator loosely, but the person being accused is never going to be as open as Michael Irvin and his lawyer are if he did this.
Mm-hmm.
If the person who's being accused is the one pushing for things to be released, it probably didn't happen. Because if not, his team's going to be pushing for it not to be released. He's not going to be allowed to talk. And they're going to say, we shouldn't release this because X, Y, and Z. I mean, lawyers will find every loophole in the world to hide things like that if it helps their client. So for him to be the one pushing for it, he probably doesn't, or not probably, but obviously doesn't have much to hide.
Yeah. Well, when I heard him say to Michael Irvin, no, speak freely, I'm like, oh, hell, lawyers don't do that.
No.
Normally, they don't even have the person up there with their client up there with them. They're like, no, I'll talk for them. And that's it. DT said it lessens the plight of actual victims. You're exactly right. Well, the whole thing is just ridiculous, and I'm just so sick of it. Snazzy, thank you. That's the phrase I was looking for. No damsel in distress here. You come at me with your verbal crap, I will quickly set you straight for all the cameras to record, and I'll call your wife too. I'll call your mama. I'll call your sister. I'll call your girlfriend. Hell, I'll make sure when your daughter turns 18, she knows. That's not how women do business. Hell, we've all seen it. We've seen these women call CPS on each other. You think they're going to care about some man coming at them with some unwanted advance? Come on now.
Heck, has anybody seen these people on YouTube? And people are not going to sit back and let people say something.
No, hell no. Hell no. If this girl was Jody Sue Brown, she would have started a channel the same day.
I know.
All right, Trev. Well, I appreciate you coming up here and grabbing the link and everybody for being in chat. I just wanted to go through that, and I have a feeling there's going to be a lot more to come. Absolutely. And now this channel is for off-topic things, and I mean off-topic from true crime. No crime was committed here. Nobody was hurt, or like the situation in Ohio. I just like to keep it separate from the true crime channel. But I appreciate you guys being here, hitting the sub button, being reminded and coming in, because I just think this stuff is ridiculous. I don't think anybody should act inappropriate. I think we should mind our manners all the damn time. I don't think you should cross any boundaries with people at any time. But I also think you should have a tough enough skin to walk out your own damn front door.
Bingo.
Bingo. All right. I will see you guys on the other channel tomorrow at 9 a.m. Thanks, Trev.
Sure. Thanks for having me.